one of the best N-scale exhibition layouts in Britain. This large, spectacular model railway draws crowds wherever it is exhibited. I first came across James Street in 2019 at the International N-Gauge show, and later the following year at the Festival of British Railway Modelling in Doncaster, just before COVID-19 restrictions came into being. Using video footage and photographs from the shows, I've created a detailed look at the layout based on articles in Railway Modeller and British Railway Modelling magazines, together with interviews with the operators who run the layout at shows. The story of the model starts over 20 years ago, when Steve Wright built a terminus station for his dad, who sadly passed away. A larger layout was constructed with a high-level 4-track line and a fiddle yard. Not satisfied with the space the fiddle yard occupied, the passenger terminus James Street was retained and the fiddle yard was removed. In 2013, the layout was redesigned to its current form, replacing the fiddle yard with marshalling yards, enabling the public to view the whole layout around 4 sides. Set in a fictitious location in the Midlands between 1958 to 1962, with stock reflecting the period, mainly London Midland region, Eastern region and Western region. The track plan gives an idea of the scale and complexity of the model. Since the plan is almost overwhelming, I've broken down the various sections according to the way the layout is operated. Trains depart from the James Street passenger terminus, goods yards or the dockyard. A departing train is handed over to the 2-track operator, who can circulate it on the double track, pass it on to the reversing loop operator or stable it in sidings. A passenger train leaving the James Street terminus travels via the Linford Junction low level onto the twin-track main line and then onto the 4-track main line before being sent around the reversing loop and back onto the 4-track main line in the other direction. The train is then held in the marshalling yards before being worked back via the innermost continuous run and then back to the terminus. Freight traffic is distributed across the various yards on the layout. Town Yard, nearest the terminus, has a capacity for 82 wagons in its 9 sidings. Middle Yard can accommodate 115 wagons across 10 sidings, including bonded warehouse goods, fruit and perishables, open loading and general merchandise. The dockyard can take 88 wagons in 10 sidings and is controlled by an external operator via its own control panel. The yards can hold 285 wagons in 28 sidings. Across the rest of the layout there is a capacity for 14 trains full of wagons. With an average of 20 wagons per train, it equates to 280 wagons in motion or ready to move. This means the layout has the potential capacity for approximately 560 wagons. Since there is no hidden fiddle yard, all traffic is open to viewing by the public. Let's now look at the stations. James Street Terminus is the main station with 6 passenger roads capable of taking 8 or 9 coach trains. There is storage for carriages in the 4 sidings that run parallel on the outside of the station. The main running lines carry traffic to and from Linford Junction low level. The lines pass under the tracks, platforms and structures of Linford Junction upper station. The low-level junction is the handover point between the James Street operator and the inner loop operator. Trains are held in the platform roads until a path is clear to the main lines or return to James Street. Linford Junction Upper is the handover point between the inner loop operator and the operators running the 4-track main line. Two operators situated on the outside of the layout control the 4-track loop and the marshalling yards. A triangular junction provides access to the reversing loop facilities, which in turn connect to the 4-track main line. Kendal Town Station on the 4-track main line has 6 platforms to provide access to the fast and slow lines. The station is partly built on a viaduct at 90 degrees to the James Street terminus. The marshalling yards consist of 7 goods roads and 10 carriage sidings, 4 of which pass through the large carriage shed. The 4-track main line has a run of 20 metres, which is nearly 2 miles in full scale. Slow lines are on the outer track and fast lines on the inner pair. Speed is important, taking 4 minutes to travel around at a scale speed of 30 miles an hour, whilst a fast express takes 2 minutes at a scale speed of 60 miles an hour. The two operators of the main loop can view areas of the track hidden to them on video screens. Track work is Pico Code 55 flexible track, with points modified to remove the large reinforcing plastic moulding around the tie bar. Point setting is by stud and probe, with route setting diode matrices built in. Over 50 electromagnetic couplers are situated around the layout to provide auto coupling. B&B couplings are fitted to locomotives, mostly only one, although tank engines and smaller tender engines have 2 couplings. Wagons are marshalled into rakes of 5 or 10 with B&B couplings at each end. The platforms at James Street have uncouplers and isolated sections to allow incoming locos to disconnect and move forward, whilst another loco comes in at the opposite end to run back out. Control is 12 volts DC with mimic control panels dedicated to certain areas, featuring LED route setting indicators. Any route set that causes a clash with another route has a flashing red LED to warn the operators. Buildings are a mixture of scratch-built and proprietary kits. Measuring 20 feet by 11 feet, taking a layout of this size on the road is quite a challenge. Erecting it to show takes about 3 hours, including putting out all the stock. This is one of the most outstanding exhibition layouts of any scale in Britain today. I hope to see a lot more of this spectacular model railway once pandemic restrictions are lifted and we can all return to something called normal again. Thanks for watching, don't forget to subscribe and I'll see you soon.